So our mission is really starts with the core of inclusivity. Everybody wants to work. Everyone wants to participate. And so any adult with disabilities, we don't care what it is. If you want to work, that's our only requirement in the interview. Not that your mom wants you to work.
Welcome to Brew Talks. I'm Steve Stroud with Roswell Inc. We're the economic development organization for the city of Roswell.
I'm Andy Williams, President and CEO of Visit Roswell. We're the official destination marketing organization for the city.
We're glad to have a special guest. I'll call it the newest coffee shop in Roswell. Laura Jesseph, we're glad to have you with Brewable.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about Brewable. I know you're on Mimosa.
We are.
And you're how many months old?
We just celebrated our first year
First
in our
year.
current location.
See?
There you go.
Goes by like that.
Yeah,
It did. And, part of it's the scaling up because we started with a reduced schedule and we've slowly built it. And part of the reason is when you have a coffee house that employs adults with disabilities,
Right.
it's a little bit of a challenge because we always have a manager present with them. And our funding, the way it works at the moment, 50% of the money raised in the cafe supports our operations, but we do have to fundraise the other 50%.
Okay.
So as we scale, we'll be able to be open in a more full-time calendar as we go into the new year.
Yeah.
We're just kind of coming off of our annual fundraising cycle. So.
And so there's something that makes your model special that's different than other coffee shops. And I want to make sure we share that
Yes.
story and the community understands, what they're supporting exactly. So why are you different than other coffee shops?
So our mission is really, starts with the core of inclusivity. Everybody wants to work. Everyone wants to participate. And so any adult with disabilities, we don't care what it is. If you want to work, that's our only requirement in the interview. Not that your mom wants you to work, not that someone's telling you should, but if you want to do it, we will accommodate you. And we have employees that work 1-hour shifts once a week. We have employees that are a little bit closer to like a full part-time schedule, but we're willing to work around all of the different needs to make it work for each individual. And I think that the best benefit of that is then you find that the brewistas, as we call them, they support each other and they're their own support group. And unlike a lot of the other nonprofit coffee house operations, we actually pay our employees. So you'll find that there's some different models out there where maybe you pay to participate or you're paid well below minimum wage. Our model, we decided very early on, was important that we basically pay competitive rates because the work is still just as valuable as it would be if a neurotypical person did it.
Yeah, and I mean it seems like it's going even beyond just providing a job for for somebody. I mean, you're really developing people. You're teaching social skills. You're highlighting things that maybe individuals didn't think they had the capability of doing, and now you've given them a home to shine and do those things. So can you talk about like what you're seeing on that front a little bit?
Sure. I mean, I think the best way to describe it is the day we don't need to use the word inclusivity anymore, we've done our job.
That's right.
So, we have employees, we have a deaf employee, so we've made accommodations. And then as you come in as patrons, you see that. That becomes more part of your everyday community. All of our staff, we've got a lot of former teachers and people with different experiences coming together to find a program that will work, going from having accessible instructions to train the employees, taking time to have volunteers come in and also learn how to do those things. And then finding ways that the baristas can maybe do a little bit more. So the cake pops that everyone knows about from Brewable,
Right.
Cafe Intermezzo actually donates the cake for those.
Cafe Intermezzo,
wow.
Yeah,
excellent.
and so they're
Love
really
it.
good
Love
if you haven't
that.
tried one. They're very good. And but they went through the process of training the baristas, and they can pretty much manage to do that all on their own without a whole lot of supervision. They're actually experts. And when you train our employees to do something, they will do it the most excellent way every single time. They're very reliable. They always show up to work. They show up with their uniforms on, and they really want to be there, which is kind of a different
Right.
trend.
Different mindset.
A different
Yeah.
mindset. And we have about 100 applications waiting and an employee base willing to work for us.
Amazing.
And we just have to grow to scale to accommodate them and bring them on board.
Well, I want to make sure we emphasize you're a 501c3.
Correct, yes.
And you've been around for how long?
5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
One
Right
year at
before
Ros-
COVID.
So how many
Yeah.
locations do you have?
So we currently have 2. Our first one is in the Alpharetta Community Center.
Oh, right.
And so that started right before COVID. And we do love that location because all the little kids coming in for all of their lessons
Yes.
get to see, again, our population working and having that as part of their normal.
Breaks the barriers.
Their moral every day. We have school trips come and visit and things like that too. So that's been really good. But the limitation with that space is that we are tied to their schedule.
Right. Whatever.
Whatever it might be. And we did our strategic plan, and our goal was to get to 50 employees. So we knew we needed another space, in quotes. And through connections in the Roswell community, we were introduced to Roswell United Methodist Church, who had an empty space.
Yeah.
And we met in June of last year, and we opened in September. They
That's
got the
fantastic.
vision. They understood what we were trying to achieve. It was very much in line with what they were trying to do. And they got behind us 100%. And we really appreciate that they've gone and done that with
Well,
us.
you're in a great spot. What's your current hours like? What's your
Yeah.
operating hours?
So right now we're open 8:30 to 1,
Okay.
Monday through Friday, and we've just started opening on Sundays. So
Oh, wow.
we'll
Oh, great.
have to see
Good
how
spot for that, too.
Yeah, so we can scale up, and then obviously our next goal is to be open on Saturdays when it makes sense.
Okay.
And then work a little later during the day, and we absolutely have a lot of regulars now. And honestly, the best part is we have a lot of free parking.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Well, you just hit on
parking.
something.
Right?
There's a theme here.
It's a big deal when you
It is a
start
big
to
deal.
look around, and it's a little bit quieter. We have a conference room that you can rent in
Yep.
the space as well, and there's a lot of outside seating. So there's a lot of different ways people can use the space, and we will open for events outside of our regular hours. If it makes sense, we're open to doing that too.
When you talk about regulars too, and I want to hit on
Yeah.
that too, because obviously you want to get the word out. You're
Yeah.
in business now. What does that look like for recruiting new business and marketing yourselves? Where is it that you're trying to get the word out further, and where can we help? As a community.
Right. I mean, come and bring somebody.
Yeah.
I think once someone's been there one time, it's nice to see that they're coming back.
Right.
The coffee is good. You're never going to have a bad day walking into Brewable. The baristas are so grateful you're there. You'll get hugs. You'll get, hello, welcome. They actually are really working well to remember orders from the regulars.
Whoa.
And rotate the food so it's not always the same thing. And as people bring people, then those people bring people.
That's
And,
right.
and we are seeing business grow. So we're super excited about that. And our goals are just to continue to do so. Our strategic plan is to get to break even with the operations so that we can then look at a third location.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
And then we'll, really kind of expand our footprint.
Well, it sounds one of the themes that we've talked about with multiple of these episodes is the fabric of the community.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing from you, which is really ultra cool, is that your baristas have created their own family.
Yes.
Right? Their own community within the community.
And they're in this community too.
And
Yeah.
they're in this
Which
community.
is great, yeah.
Right? And so that's a driver in itself, just to be able to
Yeah.
create that. And I love that idea that when we are breaking down these barriers for the children, for
Yeah.
us as adults, right? Feeling comfortable anywhere we go.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. And
Yeah.
so that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
It's a great addition, not only to Mimosa, but just to Roswell, because there's so much
Yeah.
need for coffee. We all
Yeah.
like caffeine.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Why do you think I got on the board of this one?
You're taking. So
Wait,
tell
you-
us your
yeah.
role. I just introduced you,
Yeah.
but I didn't
Yeah.
say you're CEO and Chief Supreme Earth
Yeah.
Commander.
No, that's not on my card. I should look though.
That's a good one.
I'm just an average old board member. I mean,
Wow.
we have a really strong working board.
Right.
A great leadership under our board president, Nikki Rudd, who's
Yep.
been in the community for a really long
Long time.
time. And, we are here because all of us love community. And this was just a way that we could build that further,
So I went through leadership, or rather, I know Nikki through Leadership North Fulton.
Yes.
And speaking of the chamber,
Yeah.
recent award recipient, for sure.
Congrats.
We
You want
did.
to talk a little bit about that and give yourself
Yeah.
a plug? So
Yeah,
this is
we
your
would love
platform.
to. We'd
yeah.
love to.
Pat on the back.
Yeah, we applied for the Nonprofit of the Year program that they have, and this year we did win the award for the Small Nonprofit of the Year,
Yeah.
and we're
Fantastic.
super excited about that. The chamber has been very supportive of what we're doing as well. Again, more community, the bigger the better. It works great
Bigger.
for us. And I do believe that one of the things that helped us stand out is this idea of true inclusivity, and that we're looking for long-term change in this community. You know, it's not, it'd be great to have these big lofty goals for national change about something, but it starts right here with that moving that first stone, and that's where you continue to build that momentum, and that's really what we're here to see.
Well, I don't want to downplay that award.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this chamber
Yeah.
represents 6 communities throughout North Fulton. Some
right.
of those communities are
Including
very
us.
large. So the
Yeah.
fact that you all were, you know, receiving that award is a big deal, and
Yeah.
congratulations on
thank
that. And I
you.
want to hit on something we talked about a little bit too. You know, it's no mystery. Roswell is a big hub for coffee shops.
Yeah.
You know, we got a variety of them, all geographically kind of in diverse areas of the community. And but that, you know, it's interesting. You have these things like the sober movement where people are kind of cutting back on alcohol.
Yeah.
So now they're like, oh, let's get into coffee. Let's get into the variety of coffees.
Yeah.
Let's really kind of almost like somebody sipping bourbon that really likes to enjoy
Yeah.
the variations of the whiskey. You know, people do the same thing with coffee.
Coffees, yeah.
And so this further adds to that product mix, you know, we call it. And it's almost like we could have a coffee trail or a little
Yes,
miniature
we
coffee
could.
tour
We
in this
should.
community.
Oh, yeah.
Ideas.
And it's not,
Yeah.
I mean, I asked that question because I think a lot of people think, well, how many coffee shops can a community have? But none of them are struggling, that's for sure.
No,
Right.
no. And
Yeah.
as you build that brand and that brand awareness, your hours change. I think, you know, each coffee shop has personality. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And with that personality, each brings in its own clientele
Yep.
and what that looks like. And so there's a place for everybody
Absolutely.
in a coffee shop, right?
And everyone's welcome for
That's
us.
right.
That's our
That's what's
our
cool.
everyone's welcome. We'll make room for you.
So you all have a huge front yard.
Yes.
Have you had things out on the yard? Or?
No, we've started to have some inquiries though,
Okay.
going into next spring, graduation parties,
Yeah.
baby showers, things like that. So I think as that continues, the inquiries continue, I think that program will develop. The staff can certainly handle it. We do have a catering menu. We can certainly add to that for special events, you know, with enough notice and so
Sure.
on. And we also have room out back. There's a nice seating area out back. So, you know, we're very respectful of the church's schedule and their events and so on. They include us in many of the things they're doing. But yeah, I think that when you talk about a perfect space, I don't know that I could make it any better. It's, you know, it's quiet. There's room outside. You know, it's really kind of, when that landed in our lap, we kind of couldn't believe it. We're like, wow, like if we had a list, this is the list, the whole list,
This is the
all
checklist.
of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and again, being a former home,
Right.
it gives you that
Yeah.
vibe that you're supposed to be there, and you got
Yeah.
these beautiful trees in the front yard,
Yep.
and I mean, it's just
Oh, and did we mention the parking?
the free parking available.
Lots of parking
That's right,
available
indeed.
and no charge.
Well, and
Just
again,
come
I
on
like
over.
the fact that you'll rent the place out.
Yeah.
We've talked to several people in the Roswell area. They're always looking for a place
Yep.
that they can have a meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? That they can bring their staff.
Yeah.
And they always want a unique scenario.
Absolutely.
So that's good for us to
Yeah.
be able to pass that on to the community and you too. Because we're excited about you've already catered something for
Yep.
us, so we appreciate that. And getting the word out to the business community that
Yeah.
you're here. I think it's so impressive that you got 100 applicants waiting.
Yeah.
And you got more applicants than you can provide jobs.
Yep.
And we just need to help you make sure that they all have jobs. So we'll get the word out so you got more coffee brewing.
And if there's companies in the area that are interested in employing adults with disabilities, we're open to talking about that. We've gone in and done some lunch and learn sort of things,
that's good.
and just looked at what that means. Some places it's an ideal fit, and we acknowledge that it isn't everywhere. But we're certainly open to sharing our experience and what we've learned and how we're doing it so that others can benefit from that too.
Well, let's make that easier for people. Where can we go to find more information about you, your mission, your purpose, and your model?
So online at brewable.org.
Okay.
Everything is there, and you can also follow us on social media at Be Brewable.
Be Brewable.
Be
Brewable.
Well, that's easy.
Yep.
Well, we would say welcome
Thank you.
on your first anniversary. Congratulations.
Yep. Congrats.
We're glad you're here in Roswell. We're glad you can be a part of the fabric, and we can all work together to brew some more coffee.
Yes.
Right? It's
Yes.
all about
Let's
coffee.
brew it.
Let's do it. Let's brew it. And then, as we say in Roswell, it's a great day to do business in Roswell.
I
Cheers.
like it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Laura.
Here, I will have my coffee.
There you go. Cheers.